This is the Gillian Gray Show, Vibrational Architect. I teach the discipline of redesigning the internal patterns that shape your love, your relationships, and the life you quietly know you were meant to live. Whether you're moving through familiar emotional cycles or you're a high achiever who senses there's more available to you, you're in the right place. This is where people learn to master the architecture of their lives and release the patterns holding them back from their inner blueprint. Each episode ends with a guided transmission to anchor the vibration we're working with so you can fully step into becoming the architect of your own life. Join me, Jillian Grace, as we pull back the layers and rebuild the vibration you were always meant to live from. Welcome back to the Jillian Gray Show, Vibrational Architect. Today, we're going to be talking about psychedelics. We're going to be talking about endogenous DMT. We are going to be talking about the pineal gland, the original third eye. And we're going to be talking about the most powerful psychedelic experience you could ever have. That experience exists inside you already. So, in this episode, we are going to chat about the ancient spiritual science, the modern neuroscience, and the truth about your own consciousness. First, when it comes to psychedelic experiences, I am going to promise you that you are not going to find authentic ones in a plant, in a ceremony, or in a substance. We are living in the middle of a psychedelic renaissance. The ayahuasca retreats, the microdosing, the DMT journeys. While these substances can open doors, they've also created an extraordinary amount of misunderstanding. People think psychedelics give you something that you don't already have or help you achieve something that you have not yet earned. But the truth is the opposite. Psychedelics don't add consciousness. They remove the filters that block what's already there. But if you have not authentically created that outlet yourself, then those filters will inevitably return when you aren't using the psychedelic. And you could potentially create more obstacles in your own process of opening up, depending on how that experience evolves. And it's all going to be based on where your vibration is when you go into any type of psychedelic experience. That's what brings us to the pineal gland. The pineal gland is the origin of where a lot of this discussion comes from. It's where a lot of ancient cultures reverted back to the belief that the seat of the spiritual vision existed there. And it's a gland inside of your brain that is in between your eyes in your forehead area. The ancient civilizations knew that this gland was a gateway. Modern science is just beginning to study what ancient cultures already understood. The Egyptians, the Eye of Horus, it's automatically identical to the pineal gland surrounding the structures within the brain. They believed it was the origin of spiritual insight, intuition, afterlife navigation, divine communication. They didn't need microscopes. They had consciousness. The Hindu tradition, they talked about that specific third eye chakra. It sits exactly where the pineal gland rests, and it governed inner vision, higher perception, intuition, and transcendence. The Taoist inner alchemy, they discussed the crystal palace. It was a triad of the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and the hypothalamus. They taught us that breath and stillness created an inner alchemy that could activate it. The indigenous Amazon cultures, ayahuasca shamans that created or envisioned this center and pointed to the pineal gland region as where all of that energy unfolded. Greek philosophers, Plato described the eye of the soul being located in that spot. Across continents in millennia, in cultures, they all agreed, even without having discussions, the pineal gland was the gateway to the higher consciousness. Here is what modern science can do and what it cannot measure. And this is where the misunderstanding happens. Modern science says we don't have evidence that the pineal gland can produce large amounts of DMT. But this doesn't mean it doesn't. It doesn't mean it can't. It doesn't mean it never did. And it doesn't mean that ancient cultures were wrong.
It simply means that science doesn't have the tools to measure what's happening in that area of the living human brain because it's something that we don't understand scientifically. The pineal gland is tiny. It's deeply embedded. It's extremely difficult to sample it without destroying it. Science measures matter. Spirituality measures consciousness. The pineal gland sits at the intersection of where modern tools can't see a full picture. What we know about endogenous DMT. This is the ground research. DMT is present in the human body. It can be detected in the blood. It can be detected in the lungs. It can be detected in the peripheral tissue. The enzymes that synthesize DMT exist in humans. This means the body can produce DMT. DMT may be released during extreme states. Animal studies show that DMT increases during oxygen deprivation in near-death states. DMT resembles serotonin and melatonin. It's part of the tryptamine family, the molecules that regulate consciousness. Psychedelic states overlap with meditation, breath work, and mystical experiences. Dr. Rick Strassman, a pioneer of DMT research, confirms this overlap. Even if the pineal gland isn't pumping out grams of DMT, the body is still wired for altered states. Also, the release of DMT has also been known to be able to be accessed during certain tantric sexual practices. So the mere act of having that connection sexually with a partner or even by yourself achieving orgasm releases a frequency within you that, if channeled correctly, could completely shift the molecules within your body and the hormones within your body. The pineal gland is a transducer, and this is the bridge between ancients and modern science. The pineal gland may not be a chemical factory, but it's a frequency transducer. Ancient cultures described it as a receiver, a transmitter, a dimensional translator, a spiritual antenna. Modern science is looking for chemicals when ancient science has been looking for consciousness. The pineal gland may operate through electromagnetic signals, through biophoton emissions, through quantum coherence, through vibrational perception. And that's why ancient cultures revered it and why modern science just struggles to measure it. We're simply using the wrong tools. So here is where we walk into the use of psychedelics and how they mimic what the body already knows. So psychedelics don't create spiritual experiences. They reveal them. They temporarily have been known to filter out the ego, to shift your identity structures, to change your emotional density, and to release perceptual limitations. They show you on a conscious level what you already contain. Here's the danger. If you rely on a substance to access your own consciousness, then you enforce the belief that you can't get there on your own. And that belief is at the very opposition of a spiritual evolution. That belief is actually what got us here in the first place. We have been taught for cultures that we need to look outside of ourselves to be able to obtain the understanding of what our structure is, of what we are from a spiritual standpoint, from an internal soul focus. Whether it was belief systems, whether it was cultural understandings, whether it was things we were taught in institutions, we were always taught to pay attention or to give the outer world our power. And psychedelics and the usage of psychedelics in order to achieve that inner power are just another gateway of the exact same source that we have been working so hard to ignite within us for so long. And that's why you're seeing such a surgence of this right now, because it's another attempt on how we can remove that power from within us and we can use an external source to become our next God or our next answer or our next gateway to finding what we truly need to look within in order to achieve. Our ancients knew that. Our ancients were able to achieve that through breath work. They were able to achieve that through focus. They were able to achieve that through meditation. They had an awareness that the true power of how you evolved existed between you and yourself. It is only when you become the only power that you need that you will truly evolve to understanding the power that's within. And that's one of the most important things to understand before you walk into one of these psychedelic experiences and become very romanticized by a lot of the promises that are out there. So, how humans access psychedelic states naturally are through deep meditation. So, meditation can induce states that are identical to psychedelic experiences. And again, it's your own internal state controlled only by you, not given to you by an outside force. So, the power of you being the retainer of it and you being the one who's able to maintain it stays within. That's true growth. Breath work. So, altering your CO2 and altering your oxygen ratios is another way of shifting consciousness that many of our ancients were very well aware of. And that's why we have so many breath works and so many ways of moving that breath that allow that to shift. Certain dream states. Dreams are the original psychedelic. So, going into a dream state, making sure that you are at rest, listening to different frequencies when you fall asleep at night, that can help to induce that same release within your body. Somatic releases. So, when the body releases stored trauma, consciousness expands. The body is its own frequency, its own entity, its own vibrational structure. And within the body, in the tissue, there are vibrational memories, and that particular vibration can hold your frequency down from being able to achieve the states of enlightenment that you're trying to achieve. Therefore, there's different somatic methods, movements, I've talked about them on previous episodes, that can help you to release that trauma so that what fills that space is more of a higher frequency to allow your consciousness to expand. Also, identity evolution. When you shed your old identities and you start to move into a new state of being, again, you're shifting from one vibration to another. And naturally, you'll be able to produce more DMT, more psychedelic abilities, more ways of connecting with yourself deeper and getting to higher levels of vibration. And of course, another way to naturally achieve this is frequency work. Your emotional frequency alters your perception. It alters what you will allow through your body, and it alters what vibration you're able to carry. You don't need a plant to meet your soul. Your soul is already here. You don't need something outside of you that's going to change the way you think in order for you to find out who you are. That is not authentic. That's a fast route to a part of you that you aren't prepared to meet. And that's why you can't hold on to that state past the experience. So here's the truth. You are the medicine. You are the portal. You are the psychedelic. You are the evolution you're seeking. Ancient cultures knew this. Modern science is now rediscovering it, and your consciousness has always held it. And I will always encourage you to find it authentically and to not look outside yourself, because that's what the blueprint of your soul has always been calling you to do. Be your own light. Okay, so as with every episode, I always have a guided talk down that helps you to reconnect with whatever we talk about on our show. And today, since we've been talking about connecting with that pineal gland, we're going to do a guided talk down that brings you into that state. So I invite you to slow down, relax, find a comfortable place, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and let us begin. Take a slow breath in and let your entire body soften on the exhale. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw loosen. And let the space behind your eyes grow wide and spacious. and focus your attention on the space behind your eyes. You're not trying to go anywhere. You're simply arriving into yourself. Take another slow breath in. And as you exhale, feel the weight of the day melt down your spine, pulling gently into the base of your body. Bring your awareness into the center of your forehead. Not on the surface, but slightly behind it. A quiet, intelligent point of awareness. Ancient traditions called this the seat of inner sight, the place where the physical and the spiritual meet. You don't need to force anything open. You're simply remembering what's always been here. As you breathe, feel the space in your forehead. Focus your eyes up towards the top of your head and feel that energy building, placing all of your attention in that spot. Let your breath move like a soft wave through that space. Inhale, feel the pressure become stronger with your awareness. Exhale, feel it soften, expand, and become receptive. Now bring your attention deeper into that center. The ancient Egyptians called this the Eye of Horus. The Taoists called this the Crystal Palace. The Vedic texts called this the commander of the center of consciousness, or the third eye. You don't need to visualize anything. Just sense the presence of this inner chamber, the place that's always been yours. As you breathe, a gentle pulse of awareness radiates from the center. Not a light, not a color, just a frequency. A soft hum of intelligence that's been waiting for your attention. With each breath, this inner chamber becomes clearer, more defined, more awake. Now imagine your breath flowing directly into this space, as if the inhale travels up the spine and gathers through the center of your brain, and the exhale releases any tension, any density, and any old identity that no longer belongs here. Inhale, and awareness rises. Exhale, inner vision opens. Feel the pineal gland respond, not with force, but with recognition. This is its natural state. Clear, receptive, awake. You may notice a subtle pressure in your forehead, a gentle warmth, a sense of expansion, or a deeper stillness. Whatever you feel is perfect. Take a moment to silently repeat to yourself, I see from within. My inner vision is open. I'm safe to perceive more. Take one more slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, imagine this entire center of your brain glowing bright with clarity and unmistakably awake. You are connected, you are receptive, and you are aligned with this inner vision. When you're ready, gently bring your awareness back to your body, back to the room, and back to this present moment. Take one last deep breath and open your eyes. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey and for being present for this podcast. I hope that when you allow yourself to expand, you give yourself the credit you deserve for the power within you and you allow it to wake up. As always, my name is Jillian Grace, and I'm here to guide you on your journey as you are architecting your reality and stepping into the highest timeline that you can evolve into. If you'd like to continue learning on your journey, take a peek at my website and my newsletter so that you can be aware of everything that's necessary in order for you to evolve. And if you are drawn to continuing your journey in a deeper way, take a peek at my private sessions. I have helped hundreds of people over decades to learn about their inner loop and to grow into their calling. Thank you so much for listening, and I will chat with you again next week.
Let this episode settle into your system. And if someone in your life is moving through their own patterns or stepping into their next level, send this episode to them. The vibration you're integrating becomes stronger when it's shared. And if you feel called, liking the show or leaving a review helps this work to reach people who are meant to find it. I'm Jillian Grace, and I'll meet you in the next episode as we keep rebuilding the blueprint that you were always meant to live from.